Hello, everyone. Welcome to another podcast. I always say that. And just for a little bit of promo here, that I find out from my analytics that 96% of you are not subscribed to this channel. Please do so that you can watch this episode with this guy, Richard Todd. Now, we were often told that art should hold a mirror to society, which I believe. But what happens when that reflection shows us a crisis we can no longer ignore? Toronto is facing a homelessness emergency with the number of people without a home doubling since 2001 to over 15,400 individuals. Confronting this stark reality head on is Toronto singer songwriter Richard Todd, who we have here, and his project, Artists Against Homelessness. Their initiative, The Forgotten Homeless, uses the universal language of music not just to raise awareness, but to fuel tangible change, with all streaming royalties going to Wood Green Community Services. The project is even featured in a City of Toronto exhibition, making a truly citywide conversation, not just homelessness in Toronto, but all over the world. But we are thrilled to have Richard Todd with us today to discuss how a song can become a symbol of empathy, a tool for action, and a source of hope. Richard, welcome to the show. Pleased to meet you.
Hey, pleased to meet you too. Thanks for having me today.
You're very welcome, and I can't wait to speak to you about this. So, before we begin, can you go back to the beginning of what made you want to be a singer songwriter and your urge to help the homeless?
Oh, wow, that's two different things. Well, like many artists before me, I think it happened when I first heard that old band you might know of called the Beatles. I heard that, and I don't know, they hit those magic chords, that intangible thing that has driven so many musicians into the crazy world of the music industry. So for me, that was it. And especially what really inspired me about them and others was the ability to motivate people through music. Tell your own story, tell other people's story, and touch them on levels that not a lot of other media can, television or movies or anything like that. There's something intangible about music that really helps get a message across and invoke a lot of emotions in people. So I've been a musician almost all my life, and a songwriter as well. I'm blessed slash cursed with that ability. But let's fast forward to the initiative here. It started in some years ago, in 2013, somewhere around there. It's called with a little grassroots movement I called Warm It Up. And the idea of Warm It Up was to go out into the streets with some coffee cards. It was a particularly cold December that year, and give them out to people who were clearly in need of support. And that way they could go into a coffee shop and warm up and have a hot drink and, hopefully just get out of the elements for a little while. And that blew up online. I couldn't believe it. The last count I saw was 3,000 people were helped in 1 year alone, in one
Mm.
season alone. It was only a 2-week campaign. So I thought that was just wonderful. We later expanded that into something called the Sock Patrol, where we delivered pairs of socks to a lot of people
Mm.
on the streets as well, which was very, very welcomed, especially again as the winter season approached. So that went on for a few years, and we had to pause it. And then a few years ago, I was in a downtown Toronto bar with my band, Redpath Traffic. We were part of an ensemble that night, and there was a young fellow on stage who was 22, 23 years old,
Mm.
dressed nicely, nice looking guy, was up there playing his guitar, sang a couple of songs. But at the end of his set, he appealed to the crowd and said, "Does anybody have a bed or a couch that I can sleep on tonight? Because I have nowhere to go." And what that moment taught me, or really made clear, was the fact that homelessness has many, many faces. It's not just that person you see on the street, the stereotypical image you have when you think of someone who's homeless. This was a clean cut kid, and he had nowhere to go. The fact that homelessness has so many faces is one of the reasons why it's impacted society so much and at the accelerated level that it has over the last several years. Like you noted, 15,400 people tonight in
Mm.
Toronto will likely not have a bed to sleep in tonight, right? Or somewhere safe to go. That's a small town.
Hmm.
So really, I thought this needs to be taken out to the masses. This new
Wow.
way of thinking that homelessness, it could be anybody. It could be someone you know that doesn't have a bed. You see them every day, but they're sleeping in their car, or they're going to a shelter, or they're trying to find a couch, right? Someone you might work with. It could be a woman who's escaping domestic abuse, a young person getting away from a toxic household, someone who was gainfully employed but didn't have enough money to saved up if they lost their job to get them through to the next opportunity. So many stories out there. So I thought I'm going to write the song and donate the proceeds from the song called "The Forgotten Homeless"
Hmm.
to Wood Green Community Services Unmet Needs campaign, which helps connect vulnerable people with supportive housing. And that's how it came about.
Wow. I know that you have a press release that says there's no good way to say this. Now, what moved you from concerned action to compel you to write The Forgotten Homeless? Tell us about that.
Well, that's a very intangible. I don't have a tangible answer for that. It's
Wow.
something as a songwriter, and many songwriters might be able to tell you this. And I don't like to toot my own horn about this kind of stuff, but you just get motivated. You find a story to tell, and you tell it, just like any writer or any filmmaker or any creative person, right? And this is something that I have a particular interest in, and being of the empathetic sort, like many people in the arts are. Yeah, was just motivated to take action and let's do something to help.
What do you hope this name makes people remember? Like, even if 30, 40 years from now, well, there's going to be another 16 or 17,000. Hope not. I hope that gets cleared up at some point.
Yeah, I think that's all of our wishes. That it makes a stronger community when people are thriving, when everybody's thriving, right? Everybody in the community benefits. Well, I think there are many bodies out there, shall we say, that might have forgotten how many people are actually in need, which is
Mm.
why the problem has become so much at crisis level that it is today. We can't forget their stories. The main message of the song can be encapsulated in two lines that a lot of people catch, and it's that the tales that they tell could be ours as well. It can happen to anybody, and it's happened to some of the people that you would never guess happened to. It's run of bad luck. It's not necessarily mental health or addiction issues that have them wind up on the street. It's just a lot of unfortunate circumstances, and in today's economic climate and jobs climate, it can be hard to navigate for a lot of people.
Um, I know that you're a musician first and foremost, but how did you navigate the challenge of writing a song that's both a compelling piece of art and clear, effective call to action? Did you worry about the message overshadowing the music, or vice versa?
No, not at all. I mean, the message definitely takes the foreground in the storytelling. It's more than a plea and a call to action. It's telling stories of people who are on the street, because everybody, like I might have said earlier, has a story.
Hmm.
Every individual has a story of how they wound up where they are, and I would love the thought that everybody who is out there has somebody who loves them and who worries about them and who cares about them, right? And thinking for myself, it was someone I cared about who was out there. I would want to take action or have someone maybe lead a cause that can really provide or help provide solutions, not only to get people off the streets now, but stem the growing tide of homelessness, which is endemic to our society.
Yeah, we had a person working in an office, and we heard his story, and he said he was homeless for 4 years. And I'm like, so you went from homeless to this suited guy? And I'm like, wow, amazing. So it's possible. It's possible. And that's the people that don't want to be off the street. They just rather be there. And I'm like, well, can we help you? So no, 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 no. You know, it's terrible. But I know that you said music has the power to unite people. Now, in the face of complex issues like homelessness, which often involves policy and politics, why do you believe an artist's perspective is so crucial?
Well, because we have the means to communicate,
Hmm.
right? Any artist does, in music or through film or through writing a book or writing thought pieces, leadership pieces. It's really because I, I have to say, I feel funny calling myself an artist.
Mm.
I don't like to do that, but a lot, that's for other people to call me. But many artists, they do have that A, empathy, B, self-awareness, and C, the power, or at least the ability to create something that can move people. Not a lot of people can, but for the people that try, it can be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's one of that you called the song "The Forgotten Homeless." Now, before we talk about that, I know you brought together a remarkable group of artists for this, like including wow, Juno-winning producer Chris Burkett. What was your pitch to them, and what does this participation say about the arts community's willingness to engage with this crisis?
Well, partnering with Chris was easy. I already knew him. He was the producer for Redpath Traffic, my band.
Hmm.
And he's also a passionate advocate for fighting homelessness as well. So it was really easy to bring him on board. I just said, look, here's the vision. Let's do something, right? And he did. As to the other artists, yes, most of them, I think almost all of them came through Chris because he has such a wide network of
Mm.
independent artists with whom he works with or at least knows. And everyone was right on board with it. They worked frightfully well together for the song and for the video. There were no egos. Everyone just came together for a common cause and came together as a community. And I think
Mm.
that's really important to note as well, because I could have easily just sang the song, put it out there, and but to get a bunch of people together to show that we are united and put on a united front, I think has a little bit more impact.
Yeah, homelessness is like, it's terrible because you talk to people and say, "Why are you homeless?" or "Get lost, you piece of it." But they're people, and they had a life. I said, "Oh, what's your story?" It's well, I was married for 14 years. My wife died and lost my kid and the house fire and I lost everything and I ended up on the street. So did you ever want to get back on your feet? So I'm trying to get back on my feet, but nobody wants to help. So it's terrible. Now I know that your guitar and lyric sheet are now part of the City of Toronto's official At Home in Toronto exhibition. What does it feel
Mhm.
like to see your creative tools displayed as historical artifacts of a current social movement?
Yeah, it was an honor, definitely, for them to come to me and say, "We know about this initiative, and we'd like to work together to create for me to contribute something to the show." So the fact that the city recognized that, yes, it was quite the honor and very exciting because again, it's there's a QR code as well on the display, so people can watch the video, they can look at the guitar, and they can scan the QR code for to stream the song right there. And that's another important point as well. I know I've been out in the streets helping, you've been out in the streets helping, but not a lot of people are comfortable doing that.
Mm.
And a lot of people might not have the economic means to make large donations, right? Or carry small change with them. Not a lot of people do that anymore, that they can just, help out a little bit. But this gives them the opportunity to help simply by streaming a song. That's all you have to do. It's active, but it's also passive because you're not right there in the mix, right? You leave that to Wood Green to take care of the supportive housing programs. But just by streaming the song once or multiple times, preferably, you could be making a significant difference from the comfort of your living room or at the office or in your
Hmm.
car. That's really the important thing here is the accessibility and breaking down barriers to getting involved and to being able to support people where it's needed.
How does it make you feel when you see someone? Can you help them, and what do you do, and what are their lives like a year from now if you maybe contact them after, or they still, I want to say, this comedian calls it, without a home. I don't want to say homeless, but without a home.
So, sorry, what was the question? How I feel
Yeah,
about?
how do you feel like when you talk to those who are homeless? You try to help them, but do you really help them? Like 6 months from now, are they still homeless?
Well, I mean, it's possible. Anything is possible.
Mm.
I mean, I as one person can't help someone to the point where they're permanently have a place to live, right? That is up for bigger organizations, again, such as
Mm.
Wood Green, to help arrange that kind of thing. I can only do what I can do, as get organized, spread awareness, hopefully collect some money through the royalties and donate it back to them. I mean, we all have the power to use our talents to help.
Hmm.
They have their talents, which is, the direct involvement. We have our talents as artists to do everything what I just said about raising awareness and getting projects together and getting people motivated and excited and breaking down those barriers to entry. Um, so yeah, I mean, we just want to help as many people as we can through this initiative. And hopefully they get the tools to stay off the streets and participate in society just like you or I.
Yeah. I know you mentioned about the QR code. Now, that's museum installation. For visitors to stream the song on the spot, directly generating funds for Wood Green, they have to use the QR code. Now, can you talk about the importance of creating that immediate, tangible link between artistic expression and financial support?
Yeah, I mean, it's you have to catch them right away, right? It's like I think any fundraiser will tell you that because you're going to be forgotten in 2 seconds. So you can go directly to any streaming site, stream the song. You've already helped. But that QR code is there just for people who might not be aware of it and might be motivated by the display to help right away. Because I'd love it when people use the QR code, and we want to capture that. Again, it's free for them to do. You just stream the song. That's all you have to do. You don't have to pay any money. We'll take care of that. But I want to capture them right at that moment
Yeah.
when they're touched. And again, that's when that's when people are most motivated, when you catch them at that moment.
I know we have to make sure everything's linked in the description and so people can donate. So, beyond the crucial funds being raised for Wood Green, how do you personally measure the success of this initiative? Like, is it in a changed perspective, a new conversation, or something else?
Well, hopefully, it's a way to inspire other artists and other musicians to take action as well. Um, it's also to help spread the word. I mean, everyone's aware of homelessness, but this new perspective that we're trying to promote is that it has many, many
Mhm.
faces, right? It's not something we can turn away from, and we shouldn't turn away from it. And if you're not comfortable getting involved, you can do it right from your couch. You can help without taking any money out of your pocket. In terms of measurable results, I leave that with Wood Green. They have a great program, and they're doing whatever they can to help people who are on the
Mm.
streets. The accountability is really just if we can help one person, two people, three people, that's just fabulous, right? Because you're giving hope to even just a few people, just like we did with Warm It Up. 15,000 is a lot,
Wow.
though. It's a
Yeah.
lot of people, and it's not getting any better. So we have to go beyond that to create sustainable solutions that will help reverse this trend.
Mm. You hope so. Now, everyone, we know the song is called "The Forgotten Homeless," but I want to ask you, Richard, like, what is the one-dimensional story or stereotype about homelessness in Toronto that you are trying to rewrite with this project?
Well, I'm trying not necessarily to rewrite it, but just to change focus a little bit, right? And as I said, to help people understand that everybody out there has a story, and it could be someone who shows up, like someone in your family who shows up for Christmas or Thanksgiving
Mhm.
dinner, and then they go home. I'm doing air quotes for people who are listening and not watching. Um, but what does that home look like, right? So there's a big population of the hidden homeless as well, of people who don't want anyone to know that they're in this situation. But if
Mm.
we don't know, then we can't help them. So that's another big component of it as well. I'd also say that outside of Toronto, because this is really where we're focusing right now,
Mhm.
there are tent cities and there are homeless encampments in places you never would have heard of,
Mm.
even 7 years ago. Barrie, London, Kitchener.
Mm.
Uh, They just came up overnight. And so what's going on? So if you saw someone in Port Credit, it's very possible that they're passing through or it's starting to spread to that area.
Yeah,
Wouldn't surprise me.
it's too bad. So this isn't. I know you talked about warming up, but I know this isn't your first foray into direct action because you also own or you also run the Warm It Up initiative. How have your experience on the front lines handing out socks and coffee cards directly shaped the lyrics and spirit of this song?
Yeah, I mean, it does. It does. It reminds you that these people are human, and again that they have stories to tell. Um, they're out there and they just need help.
Hmm.
that helped shape the lyrics, but it was really the experience that I described with the young man with the guitar that really hit it home that this can happen to anybody. This nice young man could happen to anyone, and who knows? Again, the next person that you speak to out in a store or anywhere in the mall or in a parking lot, they could be homeless as well. You never know, and we need to help them.
Yeah, we need to do. This is kind of like a systematic problem. So the data points to doubling of the homeless population since 2021. So from your perspective, Richard, having worked closely on the issue, what are the one or two most significant systematic failures that have led to this dramatic increase?
Well, there are a lot of things. I think there are a lot of factors. Top one or two, I don't know. Economic insecurity, food
Mm,
insecurity, of course, plays in. Divorce rates play in. A couple splits up, they
yeah,
split the assets, and then one or both of them could wind up on the streets, right? How people handle stress that leads to domestic violence or anger issues, addiction issues. There's so much, but it's just such a wide net that it's hard to just bring it down to one or two reasons. If you're talking about systemic reasons, well, it doesn't have to be this way. And whatever the system is doing right now clearly isn't working and it's not responding. And it's almost as if it's they're letting it happen. There's no reason that it had to double over the past 7 years. Absolutely no
yeah,
reason. So what's going on? I don't know, but something is.
yeah. I mean, the human costs. Like we often see homelessness as a statistic, though. Through your work with Warm It Up and this project, is there a particular encounter or story of a single individual that has stayed with you that embodies why this work is so urgent?
Not at all. I'm thinking mostly not just one person. It's everybody.
Hmm.
It's every individual that is having difficulty right now, or is on the verge of finding themselves in a similar situation. Not one particular story. I can cite the young man with the guitar again in the pub. Um, to me, and I don't even know what his story was. I just knew the fact, and yeah, it's truly awful. So that was really as I said, the catalyst or the springboard for the forgotten homeless.
I know people are going to ask me when I tell you that I was homeless for a bit, and it was scary. And I had to sleep behind the couch of a apartment building. And in the middle of, like in the morning, the security guard said, "Hey, get out. I don't want people to see you here." And I'm like, I just felt like I'm not saying I was like people are homeless for years, maybe months, but even a little time now, it was scary and having to be like that. And yeah, you want to perk up quickly and just change your life because I tell you one thing, being homeless is not something you want. And I'm not going to tell you otherwise what it was, maybe when I press end record, but yeah, it was terrible. And I'm not going to say, look where I am here, look where I am now. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, I've been blessed to have a place to lay my head and people and Black Cat. And hope she stays right where she is and doesn't ruin it like last time. But, um, but yeah, so, okay, so let's talk about the museum exhibition. Now that ends on November 30th, everyone. So hopefully I can have this up on the platform before then. But the crisis will persist. What is the long term vision for Artists Against Homelessness? Is this a one time project or the beginning of a sustainable movement?
Well, we already have the song out, so I think that's something that doesn't go away and it will never go away. It will always be there, and the program will always be there. I'm looking at options to revive it again with new material or even possibly a charity concert. That's something that is currently being discussed.
Yeah.
Long term vision, though, I mean, it's a long term fight. It really is. Meaning fighting homelessness.
Hmm.
We can't do it overnight, so it has to be something, like you said, that's
I know.
sustainable.
Yeah. So, person listening to our conversation right now, Richard, who feels overwhelmed by the scale of the problem, what is one concrete, achievable action you would ask them to take today after hearing this interview?
Stream the song, stream the Forgotten Homeless by Artists Against Homelessness. Easy to do. You can just I think you said you were putting links in the in
Yeah, I'm
the
going to put
in the
links and everything in
description.
there.
Yeah, click the link, listen to the song at least once. If you want to go an extra step, you can go to the Wood Green website, woodgreen.org, I believe it is. Check out their Unmet Needs campaign and make a donation right there. online. You can do that as well.
So we know the project describes a message of empathy, action, and hope. In the face of such a daunting challenge, where are you finding the most potent sources of hope for a future where Toronto doesn't have a forgotten homeless population?
In people who do want to help, because as long as we have that vision, we have that desire, that change can be made. Um, and it's really up to, I think, citizens, private citizens, and corporations and businesses, and service organizations like Wood Green to really take the lead on these things to help. We can't wait for public policy to change, because I mean we've been waiting a long time, and as I said earlier, it's the population has doubled.
Yeah.
So whatever they've been doing, whoever they are, it's not working.
Yeah, that's too bad. The 15,000, like how many are actually in like different cities on the planet? That's like 15, 16,000 times how many countries? There must be like hundreds of thousands of homeless out there. It's too bad that they just can't all be helped, because there are some people just don't want to leave the streets. They love the street because they get free food, free medical care. But many of them in the winter, because it's so cold, they're sleeping on a grate with the heat coming out. Sometimes they pass away on that. It's
Sure.
terrible.
Yeah, I mean, some people it's a lifestyle that they know. I would never say it's a choice, but I mean, it is a lifestyle that they're familiar with. They might feel safe in because they know it so well. It's been so long. But helping people who want to be helped certainly would is the mission here.
That gentleman that you said played the guitar, but then said, "Is there anybody that can take me to stay with him for a bit?" That was heartbreaking. First of all, you're playing in a band and you're telling people you're homeless. Like, what's going on there? So hopefully you can help that gentleman and others, and this project really helps. And everyone will be linked down below the link. And yeah, thank you so much, Richard, for coming on the platform. Really appreciate it. We're going to try to get this episode out as quick as we can, because that's 15,000. Wow. You know, before meeting you, I thought it was just a few, whatever. But now you're telling me 15,000 in Toronto. That's
It's
a
hard to imagine, isn't it? That's a Toronto Maple Leafs game almost. I think
yeah.
that's 18,000 people in that stadium.
I know.
15,000. And I don't know. It's hard to wrap your head around. Again, the size of a small town. It's unbelievable, and it's a crisis. It's a hidden crisis that does need to be addressed, because, as you pointed out, walking down the street, you see maybe a few dozen walking down Yonge Street or going downtown, but 15,000, what does that look like? It's incredible,
Yeah,
not in
and
a good
not
way.
just yeah, Toronto and other places as well. But yeah, thank you, Richard, for being on the platform. And I'm thinking I'm going to get this out as quick as we can. Maybe this Friday morning and next Friday morning, maybe Saturday. I'm not sure, but I want to get it out there
Sure.
quickly, because November 30th, I think you said was the what did we say? November 30th was the end or something of
Is-
it. Or
That's
what?
when the museum, display
Right.
or the museum exhibit closes, but
Mm.
the song will always be there. So as long as this is up, people can click those links, listen to the song, and hopefully make a positive difference in our community.
Well, let's try Friday morning or Saturday morning this week. I'm going to try to get out. Like, this is the quickest I've gotten on an episode. Usually it's 3 weeks to a month, but we're going to get you up there quickly as we can, because it's important.
Okay,
Thank
much
you, Richard. Okay,
appreciated.
everyone.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. And everyone, thank you for watching. And thank you, Richard. We're going to end this stream. Wait one there.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks for
welcome.
having me.
A hazy Toronto night, a shadow drifts just beyond the scene. Shades of who we used to be, so long ago, forgotten. They found him in the street, marks along his arm. He had no streets with a sign, my children need to eat.